Here's what you'll need to create a Celluclay creature pencil holder: a glass jam jar, masking tape, 4 old sheets of 8.5 by 11 printer paper, 1 dish of water, Sandtastik Rappit plaster cloth, Activa Celluclay, acrylic paint, whatever color you want, 1 old business card or credit card, and scissors. This is a medium difficulty creative project. You can decide how simple or how complicated you want to get with it. Our example here shows how to create a claw of a creature pencil holder, but you can make any sort of animal or monster you'd like, maybe a tiger or an elephant. The point is you get creative and challenge yourself. First, start with your empty reused glass jam jar, but make sure that it's clean. Wrap the glass jar with a couple of strips of masking tape so that the Sandtastik Rappit plaster cloth has something more than the glass surface to stick to. Take your 4 sheets of 8.5 by 11 printer paper, make 4 separate tight paper balls. They should end up about 1.5 inches wide. Use your masking tape to tape the balls and hold them tight, then tape each one to the lower portion of the jar. These will end up forming the fingers of the creature's claw. You can line each finger where you want it, but for a more realistic claw, it's best to have 3 together at the front and 1 separate around the side. This will make for 3 fingers and a thumb. The next step is to start applying the Sandtastik Rappit plaster cloth layer. Follow the detailed instructions on the Rappit label for use. This is where your dish of water comes in. Dip each strip in the water and begin to wrap the strips around the jar and the fingers. Be sure to cover the entire visible outside of the sculpture. The only spots you don't need to worry about covering are the bottom and then the inside of the jar. A tip: the Rappit plaster strips are very easy to use if you cut them into strips that are roughly 1.25 inches. Time to take a break and let the Rappit plaster cloth layer dry. You may want to give it up to a full day to dry so that it's completely solid. This layer acts as the skeletal core for the sculpture, so you want to make sure that it's strong. Once the Rappit plaster cloth is completely dry, mix the Celluclay according to the directions on the Celluclay package. Apply the wet Celluclay to every visible side and part of the creature's claw. You want to cover all the visible parts of the sculpture with about 3/8 of an inch of Celluclay. Once the outside of the jar and the fingers are covered with Celluclay, and while it's still damp, now you add detail to the sculpture. For the effect of the creature's fur, we use the edge of an old credit card, or an old business card could work for this too. You want to just push the edge of the card into the soft Celluclay to create lines all over the creature's claw. On each finger, we also carved out fingernails. Now let the Celluclay completely dry. This can be a slow process because it's important to make sure it's entirely dry. You may want to leave it for 2 to 3 days, but you can somewhat speed up the process by blowing hot air with a cosmetic handheld hairdryer. Once the Celluclay is completely dry, paint the sculpture with the acrylic paint. Be creative and make the creature colorful. What you can do is paint the entire sculpture with a coat of white first. This will act as a primer layer. Then the colors that you paint on over the white will be brighter and take less coats to cover the sculpture. Your pencil holder is now ready to use.